So, as you can see, here's some of my beautiful lumber. I have a lot. There's four of these stacks. The one over here is the tallest. Let me show you. Look how big that is. Okay, and then these are a bunch of. This is the full size billet. Full size billets. There's like 70, maybe a little more. Anyway, I want to show you guys something. It's a really great tip I got from Axe Yankee. Um, so I got this handle that's not the best shape. I reshaped it as best I could. This is not. This is a little too thin in this area for a hatchet. Maybe if this was a full size axe, that would be okay, but it's a little too thin in the width department. I made that mistake a lot in the beginning. This is kind of when I just started making handles decently shaped. Like, this is the first one I really tried to kind of copy something, a vintage template. And I didn't do a great job, but it'll work. So here's the tip. I'll show you. I actually messed up and I wasn't recording with audio earlier, so I had to restart. So as you can see on the um, at the top of the eye, there's not a ton of space between between the tongue and the eye. So what you'll do, and this is really important to get a fat wedge in, is you'll go to the top of your tongue where it makes contact, well, where it's going to make contact, and you'll thin that down. You know how people will say you can widen the kerf to fit a fatter wedge? Well, that's not the only way you do it. You can also pare down the top of the tongue. And honestly, this is the best way to do it if you really want to do it right. This is such a great tip. Like I said, Axe Yankee on Instagram, at Axe Yankee. He helped me out and told me about this. This isn't probably, he would say probably nothing new, or maybe not. Maybe this is something he figured out himself. But with a lot of axe stuff, it's like we're just learning, we're just getting little snippets from guys that used to do this 100 years ago. Anyway, we have a wedge, cherry wedge. You can see that's relatively fat, just like I like them. Let me lift this up a little. Pretty fat, as you can see, even at the bottom. So I'm not worried about that because it will go. Well, you know what? As you can see, that's kind of tight. So it's almost like I should widen that curve even more. But instead of that, let's go a little more, and let's use the double cut side. This is white oak. Oh, you can't see it. Come on. There we go. Yeah, it's white oak. You can see the pores are filled. I hope you can see. Anyway. So I'm just going to go a little more just to make sure that that fat wedge goes down as far as I want it. If you have problems with your wedges not going far enough down, this is a great way to get them further down. So I have my mallet, little green wood mallet. I seal the end grain with wood glue. Works great. So I seal the end grain so it doesn't crack as much. And this has lasted over a year. And look how much I abused it. And this is a white oak. This was just a small white oak branch. So this has a pith, and it still worked out. So that's pretty impressive. You can see I kind of filled the cracks with glue down here, and it's really worked out well. I really recommend making a green wood mallet. And this is a maple handle, just a crappy little handle. If you have the raw materials, you're in heaven, honestly. If you have hardwoods that you can harvest, so now look, there's a lot more room in there. Let's bang this on. Okay, as you can see, the contact's looking pretty good. Here, let me press the. Hope you can see that. Yeah, contact's good. No gaps in the bottom. going to be some space. This actually might not go down as far as I want, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So another important thing is make sure that your wedge is front to back, filling up all the space that it can. You can even go a little further than it can even be a little fatter. As long as you do things pretty close to correct. Oh boy. Yeah, as long as you're doing things pretty close. This auto focus isn't working out too well here, is it? Yeah, but as long as you have it really close, but just a tiny bit fatter, it should be okay. The focus is trying to track my hatchet. Anyway, I actually don't even use metal anymore to drive wedges down. Okay, just looking. So you can see the space, and it's going to be filled completely. Hope you can see the space. This side doesn't have as much space. Yeah, actually, this wedge is not going to go down all the way, I could tell. There's not enough space. There's just not enough space. Let's see what we could do, though. This will show you why you open that up, why you pare down that tongue on the top. So right here, you're paring down that tongue. Um, yeah, right here. You want the tongue to be smaller than you think. Like if it's filling the whole gap, that's a problem because then you can't fit a big wedge. So anyway, here we go. See what's happening at the front here? I'm really beating on it. See what's happening? That's okay. Now it could have been a little. It could have been a little less. I could have done it a tiny bit less. If you have a really brittle wedge, it could crack. So just be careful. I did barely chamfer this either, so living dangerously. But as you can see, we're pretty close. And I know the tongue. You're thinking the tongue is really high. Well, I accounted for that, so I know that the wedge is like down here. It's pretty good. Or well, if I seed it all the way to the top of the tongue, I know it'll be there. So here we go. This is good. Look at that. There we go. You see? All the way up. I could even go more. So cherry is this is a cherry wedge. Cherry's relatively soft. All right, there we go. You want to move to the bandsaw real quick and cut this off? So you don't need a bandsaw, but it just makes it really quick. I'm going to get you guys a better view. It could still go down a little bit. I hope you can see that. Here, let's go a little further. So let's switch it to the back. Okay, so it looks good. Looks very good now. Now how I do this, I just use a file. Here, let's show you. I know this is messy. I didn't clean up, but oh well. You'll have to see it how it really is. Shops are not, shops are not like the cleanest environment. Okay, so this is my vice bench, by the way. I love this thing. Let's see, I need a file. Okay. Pretty cool. It'll look way better once I file this. It's interesting, you don't really need super fine sandpaper to get it relatively smooth. So first I'll start with the double cut side. It was a little tilted, so I'll try to account for that. It could be shorter, but it's fine. Look how pretty the white oak already looks. Very minimal, um, very minimal filing up. See that? That already looks pretty good, don't it? The cherry, though, yeah, up front it's up front. It's not perfect, but it's not too bad otherwise. Okay, a little more. Um, Looks like everything went pretty good. Only problem with when you make the wedge fatter back and forth is that sometimes when you try to file it down or clean it up, you'll mar the surface of the top of the axe head. It don't really matter. I mean, when you're doing a historical restoration, you want to be careful that way. And that's why I find flush cuts to be difficult when it comes to restoration. I really do. Here, let's lift you guys up a little. Hope you can see that. A little bit more with the double cut side. Yeah, I find doing flush cuts, which is normal. When you have a correctly tapering eye, you can do a flush cut. That's actually how they always used to do flush cuts. I mean, that's what I've heard. I don't know if I wasn't around 100 years ago. Although I do look old. Nah, I really don't. Um, yeah, I find it difficult to do the flush cut without damaging the axe head a tiny bit. Not damage, but just getting rid of a little patina and scratching it up more than you want. So I switched to the single cut side, and this is where you really get a smooth finish. I almost never take sandpaper to my tongue. I almost always use a file. And if you could feel it right now, you'd know it is quite smooth. So yeah, I try to kind of chamfer the top. Sometimes it's difficult. Once again, you kind of mar up your axe surface. And I kind of try to round the wedge. Chamfer it. Ooh. Some, and you know, use your safe side. Try to use your safe side. That'll mark up your axe a tiny bit less. Okay. It's easy to have tear out when you go the wrong way, so be careful. You can't put it back. You can glue stuff there, but you can't really put it back. Anyway, look at that. Not bad, right? Here, let's see if we can get you in a focus. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. A little bit of funk coming out there, but the most important thing about hanging your axe is filling that space from here to here. Sideways, sure. That's kind of like the basic. That's the whole point of the wedge is sideways. But there is no. That's why people put cross wedges, and I actually have something to show you guys with cross wedges. So people put cross wedges to spread out a handle back and forth. Now, this is an early handle I did that really stinks. Um, but I put cross wedges in it. And I want you guys to see something. I tried to drill holes. You know how they say drill holes to relieve the pressure from the kerf? Well, here, let me lift this up a little. Well, I did that. And you could see it on this side that it still kept cracking. And that's what happens with cross wedges. It'll come all the way down. If your grain orientation is decent, which this is, it's going this way, the medullary rays are going this way, things just crack in this plane. That's why you have to be careful with chair legs. I hope you guys got something out of that. I'm a little under the weather, so can't really be doing any splitting outside or anything right now. I just feel like crap right now. Yeah, you can see. I would fix that. I would clean that up a tiny bit. It's just a little ugly. Anyway, there's a little hatchet number. I'll use this for carving a little bit, you know, a little kindling. It doesn't feel too bad. It doesn't feel terrible. Hiya, hiya. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys.